Welcome to the 1940s. We're now moving forward, and this is a decade of complete change. Obviously, there's a world war looming, already started in Europe and a couple of years away from America, and great changes going on everywhere. And also with hair and fashion. There's an austerity to certain areas because of fashion following the trend of war and keeping things on the down low. But then you've got the glamour and everything to take people's minds away from it, which is your Hollywood looks. So we're going to go ahead and welcome ourselves into the 1940s with our first look. Now, our model today has quite long hair, as you can see, and we'll be working with the length, but we'll also be tucking it out the way for some of the looks as well. Bobs and different short lengths have been going through the 30s. Hair is longer, but it doesn't have to just be long. You can do various things with it. What we're going to do here is something that's been going for a lot of years, but sort of now actually we're finding is a trend again, but that's ragging. And that creates a lot of wave and curl in the hair quite easily and quite fast actually. So we're going to start through the front, and I'm going to keep a centre parting for now. Late 40s, 47, 48, centre partings became the thing. Earlier side partings, covering the eye and that sort of thing was popular. But you'll find, you know, there's a lot of variations you can do within the looks. The higher you want the wave to come, the further up the head you're going to work with the rag. The lower you want it to fall, the lower you're going to work. And you'll see me do this as we go through. I'm going to probably use about 12 to 15 rags. I'm not actually going to use a great deal of rags in the hair. And what I'm using is a little bit of thermal spray to start with, just loosely through the hair, and a little bit of spray conditioner is good as well. We've put a little bit of that in so that you've got a mixture of softness and firmness from the two products that you're working with. I'm going to take my first section, and I do want this to sit high with my wave, and so what I'm going to do is pull my section up. Twisting just adds extra movement. Do you have to? No, it really depends on how much movement you want in the hair. But I'm going to twist this. You can see the layers there that I've got, that's fine. Going to work towards the end, and then just pick up one of the rags that I have. I'm popping the hair in the center of the rag, and then I'm just folding the rag in half. The ends will go over, and then I want to make sure I twist those first of all to make sure that I don't get like a bent end on this. And then literally I'm just going to grab with my fingers and twist this up to the top because I'm wanting this one quite high. I'll do the same on the other side as well. And then you literally just knot this up. You're going to pull the end through, and there you're done. 2 to 3 inches for your width, and the length can be around 8 inches or longer. If the hair is much longer, then you might want more length on it. You know, you could go up to 12 inches if it's very long. Actually, for today's looks, if somebody has hair that doesn't actually curl well, doesn't hold a curl, this is actually a really good way to get movement into the hair. So again, don't worry about if you've got some layers, you're going to get some little ends come out, but as you twist this up, you'll find it'll find its place and it'll hold quite well. Working to the end, fold that little end over to the side so that you can actually take control of it. Bring that down to the end, fold that over. And then I'm going to bring this up. Once it's firm, then you can grab the ends and work through. And you can see this little ends come out, so all I'm going to do is pop it round and bring it through. You're in charge, so all you're doing is manipulating the hair to work the best way you want. Now this one I'm leaving looser. You can see this is high, this is lower. And again, if you look at the looks of the period, you'll notice the waves quite often are firm and they go wavy and then they cascade, but there's a drop in the back. And that's because if you're ragging or doing something like this, you can actually work where you're dropping down and the wave style's lower. So it's really up to you how you put these in. I'm going to take a fairly big section here, as you can see. as I go into this first area at the back. Comb that hair down. Make sure it's combed through before you start to twist, or else you're going to be like trying to get little knots and things out afterwards. So you're already twisting it around, which you'll have to untwist when you take it out. So if possible, comb it and make it nice and smooth. This hair is fairly long. You could work on hair that was this long. It doesn't have to be long to do these looks. We just happen to have a lot of hair today. Working to the end again, coming to the center of the rag, bringing those ends down, fold it over, make sure you curl those first, and then I'll roll this up. And then I'll go on the underneath, and I'm just doing 2. Now, again, do you want to do 2 or 3 rows? How much curl do you want? You'll see after we finish this that we get quite a lot of movement. This is something that somebody could do at home, or again, if you were doing a production somebody didn't mind, they could go to bed in the rags, which people used to do. They're comfortable, they're soft, you know, and they're loose from the head, so it's not that uncomfortable. But you could do that, and then obviously by the morning, the little bit of moisture you put in is dry. We're going to use a hood dryer today, just to dry these off a little quicker. But you can do it whichever way you prefer, just to make sure that the hair is nice and dry. Putting those ends in again, coming over, turning those ends, and then once they're there, then obviously you can let go. And you can start turning this up. And again, if I wanted this to be very loose or collapsed, I could even stop there if I wanted. And then this one would fall down and it would be very low. I'm actually going to bring it up a little bit higher because the underneath will actually support the top hair that little bit more. So I'm going to move around. In the back, I'll take another 2 or 3 sections through the center, and then I'll do the same on this side, and then we'll finish off at the front. So I'll continue with this, just working down, and then we'll get back together in a minute. So we've moved through the sides. Here we are at the opposite side now. All we've done is exactly the same thing, right the way through the back. You're going to build up as many or as few rags as you want for the amount of movement that you want to see within the head of hair you're working on. So experiment a few times, you know, and see what sort of results you want, and you'll know for the thickness and the type of hair how many you want to put in. So here we have the rags in. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. You know, as I said, I normally say between 12 and 15, but this time we've only used 10. And I really, you know, I'm looking at the hair and judging how many I want to put in. Now, what you'll want to do is dry this off. I'm going to use the dryer that we spoke about earlier in one of our other videos, and basically these are great. You can get them at a lot of hair stores, and it's basically a hood. You're going to attach it to your blow dryer. That's as simple as it is. I'm just going to drop the plug, so that's what the bang is. And then once you do that, you're going to put it over the head. So I'm just going to separate these for a second. This is going to go over the head. She's going to hold the dryer a few minutes, and then that'll be done. If you have a hood dryer, obviously you can use that. If it's for backstage for, say, a runway, and you're doing like a dozen girls like this, you're starting in the morning early, they can put these in. You can leave them with a little bit of the thermal spray and conditioning spray, and they can wander around. It'll dry out on its own, to be honest, and then you can just take it out nearer the time and brush it through. So we're going to give this a few minutes to dry, then we'll come back, take the rags out, and you can see the look as it is finished. Okay, so we've allowed the hair to heat up a little bit, cool down. Obviously the longer you leave it, the stronger your effect. And we're just going to undo the rags now. You can already see a bend there in the hair. When you're damping it down, remember you only want to get it a little bit moist. You don't want to dampen the whole thing to soaking, because obviously it would never get dry. You're just trying to put some movement in. And obviously because of the way you roll these, you've got more curl to the end than you have at the top, which is actually exactly what you want for that period and that sort of look. So literally you undo the knot, just uncurl the hair, and then once you've got the hair uncurled, then you're going to untwist. And that's so that as you pull through, you can get this lovely movement happening. The higher you want the movement, then the higher you roll the rag. The more soft you want the movement, then you roll it looser like I have. So I'm going to continue to take these out, and then we'll come back and look at how easily we can just brush this through for a really nice soft look. So the rags are now out, and I'm literally just using my fingers to claw through the hair. You can see how really soft this curl is, and then you get this nice bounce of curl halfway down the head. If I'd wanted this to be higher, then obviously you just roll your rag higher. It's a really simple but such an effective way to get hair into this sort of period look. And you're just going to brush through. Untwist first. I didn't with that one, and you can see it just tangles a little bit. But as long as you untwist, you'll find this will brush through really nicely. And I'm just doing it with my fingers. If you want more movement, or you have more movement, say you used more rags, you could always brush this through really well with a bristle brush and just get the movement that way. But this works really nicely. I'm just going to get you to put your head back. That's it. So then I can shake this out a little bit. I'm going to use a little hairspray. Just to pick up on my movement through the hair. If I want this fuller, then I can use my fingers, as we've done before in looks, as you know, and claw up and just get that moving that way. A little bit more hairspray on that hair, a little shine if you want to. And you can imagine as well, if you did this on a side part, it would then fall and the waves would fall over the face, which gives it the sort of sexier sort of feeling as well. But this is a really nice full amount of movement for, what did we say, 10 rags that we've used? And the softness and the wave falls right from that side area, which is nice, into a nice cascading amount of movement into the back. So a great way to get a 40s wave, a real glamorous sort of film star look very quickly with our model here. And I hope you like it. Very easy to do. Build it up as much as you want, bring it down as much as you want, as high as you want, as low as you want. The world's your oyster. All you're doing is ragging. Make sure you use some thermal spray and you've got your look.